Hare Krishna. Welcome to this episode of Caitanya Charitamrita. Today we will be continuing Madhya Leela, chapter 3, text 137 onwards. Śacīmātā's affection for Lord Chaitanya. We just finished in the last session the Kirtan and lunch at Advaita Acharya's house, where Nityananda and Advaita had this joking conversation, which was deep in meaning, and how Advaita Acharya served Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhus. So now we will be, so there's a segue. Now we will be seeing how Śacīmātā's affection is for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Śacīmātā is actually Yashoda Maya herself, incarnate again for Chaitanya Leela as Śacīmātā. So okay, we will say our Mangalacharan prayers and then begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we will be continuing from Madhya 3.137. Prabhate Acharya Ratna Dolai Chadaya Bhaktagana Sanghe Aila Śacīmātā Laya. In the morning, Chandrasekhar seated Śacīmātā in a palanquin and brought her from her house with many devotees. So for 10 days, Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhus ate at the house of Advaita Acharya. And the next day after that, in the morning, Chandrasekhar Acharya seated Śacīmātā in a palanquin and brought her from her house with many devotees. And Prabhupada used to say that this was the honorable way for women to move about, that they were carried in palanquins, almost like queens. In fact, Prabhupada was saying that even his mother, if I'm not wrong, would not go out just by herself. She would be carried in a palanquin and go to another person's house. So the aristocratic people, that's how much women were respected and protected. So not that everybody can see them. So this was the culture, and Śacīmātā went in a palanquin. And that's a sign of an advanced civilization and a cultured civilization. Matravat paradareshu paradravyeshu loshtravat atmavat sarvabhuteshu yah pashyati sa panditaha. So Chanakya Pandit in the Niti Shastra said that those who can see other women other than one's own wife as mother and paradravyashu loshtravat, other people's wealth as garbage. That does not mean we condemn their wealth. Oh, that is garbage. No, as much as I would not be interested in picking up something from the garbage, so I should not be interested or coveting or be envious of or be jealous of somebody else's wealth. So as much as I won't be concerned about garbage, I should not be concerned about other people's wealth. And Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu, that means if so, I should treat others as I would like to be treated. So if something gives me pain, I should not do that to others. So that is whoever does that, whoever lives like these with these three principles, he is a Pandita. That's the definition of one of the definitions of Pandit, who sees other women as mother other than one's own wife, and other people's wealth as garbage, and other people's sorry um, treating those who treat others as they would like to be treated is called a Pandit, a learned person. So by that yardstick, if we try to examine the people of this world, they're very, very ill cultured, no culture. So, especially with nowadays, the movies have become very lewd, and there's so much pornography going on. The youngsters are having tough time even getting out of that. It's horrible. It's horrible thing. Um, how can one respect another woman as mother if he objectifies the woman so much that he sees pornography, and then he would look at any other woman with that eye? I mean, imagine looking at one's own mother with that kind of eye. How horrible, disgusting it is. So that's how it is. I mean, nowadays in Kali Yuga, this is becoming so rampant. Like pigs. Pigs have no discrimination between mother, sister, daughter. It doesn't matter. They just have sex. So human civilization is going down to the pig platform. Pigs. They're going to the dogs and pigs. So that's animal, Dvipada Pashu, two-legged animal civilization. It's not even civilization, it's uncivilized. Maybe barbarians are sometimes better than this. So anyway, Śacīmātā went in a palanquin and she was brought from her house to Advaita Acharya's house. Nadiya nagarera loka stri balaka vriddha sabaloka aila hoilo sanghata samriddha. In this way, all the people of the town of Nadia, including all women, boys, and old men, came there. Thus the crowd increased. Pratah kritya kore kore nama sankirtan Śacīmātā loya aila Advaita bhavan. In the morning, after regular duties were completed and the Lord was chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the people accompanied Śacīmātā to the house of Advaita Acharya. Sachi आगे पड़िला प्रभु दंडवत होया कांदिते लागिला सची कोले उठाइया. As soon as Mother Sachi appeared on the scene, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell before her like a stick. Mother Sachi began to cry, taking the Lord on her lap. दोहार दर्शने दुहे होइला विह्वला केशना देखिया सची होइला विकल. Kesha. Upon seeing each other, they both became overwhelmed. Seeing the Lord's head without hair, Mother Sachi became greatly agitated. So, this is the problem with mother's affection. They don't let you renounce. They don't let you renounce. They're so attached to their, especially sons, that it's very hard for them to give up their sons and let them surrender to Krishna. In fact, Śacīmātā, although she was so, how to say, despondent upon seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shaven-headed and in sannyas robes, she herself said that if Ma means mother, if Ma does not let her son go and take sannyas, then she's not Ma, she's Maya. So that is very instructive to all mothers. However much one may feel affection, if one really has any affection for the child, then she should let the child surrender to Krishna, because that is explained in the Bhagavatam. गुरुर्न सस्यात् स्वजनो न सस्यात् पिता न सस्यात् जननी न सस्यात् दैवं न तस्यान्न पतिश्च सस्यान् नमोचयेद्यः समुपेत मृत्युम्. One who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, relative, father, husband, mother, or worshipable demigod. So, see, we are not owners of anything in this material world. We are only caretakers as instruments of the Lord, but everything and everyone is the Lord's property. With that understanding, a parent's duty should be to guide the child to become Krishna conscious. Anything other than that is just Maya and it's sinful. But of course, affection is there, which is why Śacīmātā is became greatly agitated. Angamuche mukha chumbe kore nirikshana dekhite na paya ashru bharila nayana. Out of love, she began to caress the body of the Lord. Sometimes she kissed his face and tried to observe him carefully, but because her eyes were filled with tears, she could not see. Kandiya kohena sachi bachare nimai Vishwarupa samana koriho niturai. Understanding that Lord Chaitanya had accepted the renounced order of life, Śacīmātā, crying, said to the Lord, "My darling Nimai, do not be cruel like Vishwarupa, your elder brother. Sannyasi hoiya punah nadilo darshan, tumi to ichhe koile moro hoibe maran." Mother Shachi continued, "After accepting the renounced order, Vishwarup never again gave me audience. If you do like him, that will certainly be the death of me." So, actually, Śacīmātā had so many children who passed away. And only Vishwarupa survived and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu survived. All the many children died at childbirth, very young infant. They passed away. And the only other son, he never came back. Apparently, Vishwarupa is considered Balaram, but also Nityananda Prabhu is also Balaram. So that's the other thing. Apparently, he is expansion of Balaram. Kandiya bolena Prabhu shuno moro aye, tomara sharira e moro kichu nai. The Lord replied, "My dear mother, please hear. This body belongs to you. I do not possess anything. Tomar palito deho janma toma hoite, koti janme tomar rina na parishodhite. This body was raised by you and it comes from you. I cannot repay this debt even in millions of births." Now, In the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his mother, this statement is very true. Okay, because the relationship between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Śacīmātā is eternal, and the Lord always feels that he cannot repay the debt of his devotees. And however many lives he may take, like even when Krishna came, Yashoda Maya was his mother, and the same personality came as Śacīmātā when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. So in this way, bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna, tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. So Krishna said to Arjuna as well, many births both you and I have passed, but I remember all of them, you don't. But the point is, many births both of them have passed. So similarly, not only with Arjuna, but with every devotee, he passes many lives like that. They are his eternal associates. So in Krishna's case, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's case, when he says, I cannot repay this debt even in millions of births, this body was raised by you and it comes from you, that is the sentiment of Krishna towards his maternal devotees or paternal devotees, and he actually means it. And also with the gopis also he said something similar. Na parayeham niravadya samyujam svasadhu krityam vibudhayushapi Yama bhajandur jarageha shrinkhala samvrishya tadvah pratiyatu sadhuna. I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. So Krishna is saying that I cannot repay, that he cannot repay his debt to his devotees' spotless service. In this case, the gopis, but he feels like that to any devotee, and he is so obliged to his devotee. This is also visible in I think this verse. Yatsevaya charana padma pavitra renum sadyah kshatakhilam pratilabdha shilam na shrir viraktam mam vijahati yasya prekshala itare niyaman vahanti. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam 3.16.7. The Lord continued, because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sin. And I have acquired such a disposition that the goddess of fortune does not leave me, even though I have no attachment for her. And others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure from her even a slight favor. That goddess of fortune is serving me, although I am not attached to her. I have acquired such a disposition only because of my devotees. See how he is saying, how he feels about his relationship with his devotees. The Lord is not, just saying something to pacify the poor Kumaras only. Yes, he was pacifying, but at the same time, that's how he feels about his devotees, really. And what is that? Let me. Oh, just the verse before. Okay, lop off. So here he says, Yasyamritamala shravanavagaha sadyah punati jagadashvapachadvikuntha soham bhavadbhya upalabdha sutirtha kirtish chindyam svabahum api vah pratikula vrittim chindyam svabahum api vah pratikula vrittim. Anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandala who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt, therefore I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. So you see, he does not hesitate to lop off his own arm. See how he's saying. That's how much he feels gratitude. This is actually the Lord's kindness. Honestly, Lord does not have to feel gratitude for anything. Nothing we can give, nothing is ours. All our service is insignificant. But it's His kindness that sevam managapi kritam bahudha bhupaiti. It's explained in this verse, right? Antya 1.108. भृत्यस्य पश्यति गुरूनपि नापराधान् सेवां मनागपि कृतां बहुधाभ्युपैति आविष्करोति पिशुनेष्वपि नाभ्यसूयां शीलेन निर्मलमतिः पुरुषोत्तमोऽयम्. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Purushottama, the greatest of all persons, has a pure mind. He is so gentle that even if his servant is implicated in a great offense, he does not take it very seriously. Indeed, if his servant renders some small service, the Lord accepts it as being very great. Even if an envious person blasphemes the Lord never manifests anger against him. Such are his great qualities. What is that? Adi 7.145. What is that? 7. प्रेम होइते कृष्ण होय निज भक्त वश प्रेम होइते पाय कृष्णेर सेवा सुख रस. Supreme Lord, who is greater than the greatest, becomes submissive to even a very insignificant devotee because of his devotional service. It is the beautiful and exalted nature of devotional service that the infinite Lord becomes submissive to the infinitesimal living entity because of it. In reciprocal devotional activities with the Lord, the devotee actually enjoys the transcendental mellow of devotional service. This is nice. So, there is one verse by Rupa Goswami. In which he says that the 6 aspects of devotional service, the last one is Krishna Karshini Chasa, Kleshagni Subhada Moksha Laghutakrit, Sandrananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Karshini Chasa. So Shri Krishna Akarshini, Krishna Karshini means devotional service attracts even Krishna. So Krishna, nothing can attract him because he is attractor of everyone. Krishna means the all attractive. But devotional service is so powerful that it attracts even Krishna and he becomes submissive to his devotee. And we can see this in this verse. There's a very nice verse as well. And there's so many verses. Just this one comes to mind again. 1:16:16. Sarathya parashada sevana sakhya dautya virasananugamanastavana pranaman snigdheshu pandushu jagat pranatim cha vishnor bhaktim karoti nirpatis charanaravinde. Maharaj Parikshit heard that out of his causeless mercy, Lord Krishna, Vishnu, who is universally obeyed by even Shiva and Brahma, rendered all kinds of service to the malleable sons of Pandu by accepting posts ranging from chariot driver to president to messenger, friend, night watchman, etc., according to the will of the Pandavas, obeying them like a servant and offering obeisances like one younger in years. When he heard this, Maharaj Parikshit became overwhelmed with devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord. So you see how he accepted such positions as night watchman, chariot driver, friend, messenger. These are not very high class posts in the social circles, but he accepted such positions for his devotees. Submissive. How submissive he became. Vamanadev is a door, watchman for Bali Maharaj because of his what is that? Atma Samarpan, full self surrender to Krishna. In exchange, Vamanadev gave himself to Bali Maharaj. So, but although it is true for Krishna, for us, this will be a overstatement. I mean, if an ordinary person has to say this to his mother, it will only be some flattery to cool her down, calm her down, but it will never be true. But sometimes such devices must be employed. What to do? Sometimes those white lies have to be said. ये वामयीशे कृतसौहृदार्था जनेषु देहं भरवार्तिकेषु गृहेषु जायात्मजरातिमत्सु न प्रीतियुक्ता यावदर्थाश्च लोके. Those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love of Godhead do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. They are not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They are not attached to their homes, although they may be householders, nor are they attached to wives, children, friends, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to the execution of their duties. Such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep the body and soul together. And in a little more explicit way, we're not talking about sannyas here, we're talking about grihastha. But even when one has to kind of become brahmachari or become sannyasi, or even for girls to become devotees, many of them they hide from their parents because the parents just don't allow. So they have to do some lying or some hiding in order to get their devotional service done. Well, that was done even by the gopis and the wives of the brahmanas as well. There's nothing. So you're completely in line if you're something like that. ज्ञातयः पितरौ पुत्रा भ्रातरः सुहृदोपरे यद्वदन्ति यदिच्छन्ति चानुमोदेत निर्ममः. An intelligent man in human society should make his own program of activities very simple. If there are suggestions from his friends, children, parents, brothers, or anyone else, he should externally agree, saying, yeah, that is all right. But internally, he should be determined not to create a cumbersome life in which the purpose of life will not be fulfilled. So we should not be too focused about how am I a good son to my parents or a good daughter to my parents. That's not so much of that should not be so much of a concern, because if we are concerned about that, we will never be able to take the steps for Krishna. But if we have to surrender to Krishna, sometimes it involves going against the wishes of one's friends and relatives. It's part of surrender. And Krishna actually tests our determination for Krishna by putting forward these material attractions and affections. So in these ways, Maya keeps us away from surrendering to Krishna. And if we have to surrender to Krishna, then we have to cut it. So of course, we should take guidance of devotees how to do such things. But we should always be, our allegiance should be to Krishna, not to our family members. Family members should be guided towards Krishna. Otherwise, there's not much use dealing with them. It just has to be very, routine. But one should understand that his real benefit that he's doing for his parents, because he should be doing his service to parents, that is automatically taken care of when one surrenders to Krishna, because Krishna then takes more care of the devotee's parents than the devotee can do himself. How much can we take care of our parents? But if we surrender to Krishna, Krishna can take care of our parents better than we can take care, of course, right? Actually, what we can take care, even if we take care, we can only take care of them if Krishna allows us to do so. And what is that so-called taking care materially? Just providing them some, funds or a livelihood or a shelter or taking care of their health. Yeah, these are necessary when it comes to that. But apart from that, even those things we cannot. I mean, balasya sneha sharanam pitaro narsimha. The parents cannot protect the child if the Lord does not will it. Mare Krishna rakhe Krishna mare ke. If Krishna wants to protect someone, who can kill him? If Krishna wants to kill someone, who can protect him? So ultimately, it's in Krishna's hands anyway. But when we have this ahankar that I am the doer, I have to protect my family, I have to protect my parents, then that's a wrong thing. But as a duty, I should do it. Hmm? But if one surrenders to Krishna, giving up such, things, such duties, one need not be worried that, oh, I am doing something wrong. Nah, there's this verse about that. If we're going to be so weak, then we cannot make any advancement in Krishna consciousness like that. Devarshi bhutapta nirnam pitrinam nakinkaro nayam ranicha rajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parihritya kartam. O king, one who has given up all material duties and has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, who offers shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even one's forefathers who have passed away. Since all such classes of living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one who has surrendered to the Lord's service has no need to serve such persons separately. And we know this, right? Narasimhadev told Prahlad Maharaj, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, त्रिसप्तभिः पिता पूतः पितृभिः सह तेन घ यत्साधोस्य कुले जातो भवान् वै कुलपावनः. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Prahlad, O most pure, O great saintly person, your father has been purified along with 21 forefathers in your family. Because you were born in this family, the entire dynasty has been purified. This is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj himself. विप्राद्विषड्गुणयुतादरविन्दनाभ पादारविन्दविमुखाश्वपचं वरिष्ठम् मन्ये तदर्पितमनोवचने हितार्थ प्राणं पुनाति सकुलं न तु भूरिमानः. If a Brahmana has all 12 of the Brahmanical qualifications as they are stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, but he is not a devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly lower than a devotee who is a dog eater but who has dedicated everything, mind, words, activities, wealth and life to the Supreme Lord. Of course, once he is a devotee, he won't be a dog eater anymore, but who came from a dog eater family but is now a devotee, he is better than this. One second. Okay, so coming back. So the devotee who has come from a dog eater family is better than this Brahmana who is very highly qualified but is not a devotee. Such a devotee is better than such a Brahmana because the devotee can purify his whole family, whereas the so-called Brahmana in a position of false prestige cannot purify even himself. So this is the difference. The Lord takes care of the family of such a devotee. He does not have to worry about, oh, who's going to take care. Krishna will make an arrangement somehow or other, they will be taken care of. Don't worry. And if they become devotees, why Krishna won't take care of his devotees? And even if they're not devotees, if the son has become a devotee, the father will somehow be taken care of. Now, coming back, so sometimes we have to say some things to pacify people, especially those who are very attached, and say something that will calm them and get on with our duties, our spiritual duties in life. Don't waste time in that. We don't have to be too worried about being truthful, or I'm kind of you know I'm not being straightforward with them. Doesn't matter. As long as they are pacified, that's fine. If they can accept what you're doing, well and good, absolutely. But if they don't, manage the situation and get your spiritual things done. That's it. That's what we should be worried about. Hmm. There is a saying, I don't know where the saying is from, but it is said that you should think of your spiritual life like you're dying tomorrow, and you should think of your material life like you have an eternal life. That means, if tomorrow I'm going to die, I have to rush and do my devotional service today. And if I just have one day left, just like Parishit Maharaj, when he got 7 days warning, he went immediately. Until then he was king and everything. Of course, he was still a devotee, but then he gave up everything. He would not have given up if he did not have that curse. If he would not have been cursed, so because he was cursed, he got what is that? A notice. He immediately left and got serious about hearing about Krishna Katha. So we should execute our spiritual life as if there is no tomorrow. But we should think about our material life as if we have eternal life. So, that means if there is a plan, still we have time. We have millions of years to plan for that. We will do some other time. So we should prolong it, extend it, whatever, we should not take it too seriously. Spiritual life, we should hurry up. It should be urgent. First thing. So that's how we should conduct ourselves. But we do the exact opposite. What we do? We plan for material things like there is no tomorrow. Or today I'm going to die, I should, get as much as possible. But spiritually, time hai, I have still time. Retirement ke baad. After 60, 70, when I retire, that time I will see. That time I will have more maturity and more time for myself. First of all, we don't know whether we have time until 70. What that time I'll have time. And even if I am there until 70, health problems will start. So many problems will start. And I have lived in one way for 70 years. Now I can change. I'll be like, hardened tree, not like a flexible bamboo, young bamboo shoot. No, I will be like a, hardened tree. I cannot be bent at that time. They said you cannot teach old dogs new tricks. So that's how it will be. So we should be hurrying up our spiritual advancement and managing our material situation. We don't have to be too all the good qualities of honesty and this, and we don't have to be too much concerned about all of that in the material sphere. Spiritually, we have to be. Materially, we have to manage. That's it. Get our spiritual thing going. That's it. Okay, so next. जानी वाना जानी कोइलो यद्यपि संन्यास तथापि तुम्हारे कभू नहीं बहुदास. Knowingly or unknowingly, I have accepted this renounced order. Still, I shall never be indifferent to you. So of course, again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he renounces what he is always with his devotees. So Krishna is never indifferent to his devotees. That's one thing. But as a sannyasi, again, what do you mean by knowingly or unknowingly I have accepted it? Of course, he accepted it knowingly. He knows what he's doing. He's the Supreme Lord. So I shall never be indifferent to you. So he's pacifying his mother. You see the language how he. So he is teaching us how we can manage our situations, because there are going to be all this emotional drama when one is going to surrender to Krishna. So there, त्यजन्तु बान्धवाः सर्वे निन्दन्तु गुरवो जनाः तथापि परमानन्दो गोविन्दो मम जीवनम्. Let my relatives all abandon me and my superiors condemn me. Still the supremely blissful Govinda remains my life and soul. चित्तं नैव निवर्तते क्षणमपि श्रीकृष्णपादाम्बुजान् निन्दन्तु प्रियबान्धवा गुरुजना गृह्णन्तु मुञ्चन्तु वा दुर्वादं परिघोषयन्तु मनुजा वंशे कलङ्कोऽस्तु वा तादृक् प्रेमधरानुरागमधुना मत्तायमानं तु मे. My mind cannot turn from Sri Krishna's lotus feet even for a moment. So let my dear ones and other relatives criticize me, my superiors accept or reject me as they like, the common people spread evil gossip about me, and my family's reputation be sullied. For a madman like me, it is honor enough to feel this flood of love of Godhead, which brings such sweet emotions of attraction for my Lord. See? So we should not really care for their opinions, but we should manage them, pacify them, but get on with our spiritual business. We should be a little, how to say, serious about it. তুমি যাহা কহ আমি তাহাই রহিব, তুমি যে আজ্ঞা করো সেটা করিব. My dear mother, wherever you ask me to stay, I shall stay, and whatever you order, I shall execute. এটা বলি পুনঃ পুনঃ করে নমস্কার, তুষ্ট হইয়া আই কোলে করে বারবার. You see, saying this, the Lord offered obeisances to his mother again and again, and Mother Sachi, being pleased, took him again and again on her lap. So you see, there's Prabhupada said, we should preach Krishna consciousness with the courage of an Englishman and the heart of a Bengali mother. That means we should feel for the sufferings of the conditioned souls, just like a Bengali mother would feel for her son. Apparently, Bengali mothers are very, very attached to their sons and very soft-hearted and cry easily. So that's how we should feel for others as devotees. But we should also know at the same time that in the course of our preaching, we will meet so many obstacles, and one has to be absolutely courageous. He cannot give up for anything, the preaching of Krishna consciousness. তবে আয় লইয়া আচার্য গেলা অভ্যন্তর ভক্তগণ মিলিতে প্রভু হইলা সত্বর. Then Advaita Acharya took Mother Sachi within the house. The Lord was immediately ready to meet all the devotees. একে একে মিলিল প্রভু সব ভক্তগণ সবার মুখ দেখি করে দৃঢ় আলিঙ্গন. The Lord met all the devotees one after the other, and looking at everyone's face individually, he embraced them tightly. केशना देखिया भक्त यद्यपि पाय दुख सौंदर्य देखिते तब पाय महासुख. Although the devotees were unhappy at not seeing the Lord's hair, they nonetheless derived great happiness from seeing his beauty. So you see how much the hair, just the hair, brings so much affection, especially in Kali Yuga, even more so. Lavanyam Keshadharanam, beauty is judged by the hairstyle, one's hair, whether head hair or facial hair, whatever. So hair, just the hair was not there, and they were all sad about it. Of course, they know not just the hair. Of course, because his hair was very beautiful. In Krishna's case, it has different meanings because Krishna's hair, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so beautiful. His hair until his shoulders, it was so beautiful to look at. So that was a bit painful for them. But in the ordinary context, you see, just giving up hair already they are, all jittery. Oh, he's going to take sannyas. Even if just became bhakta only, just became bhakta. Or if somebody is a grahastha, he just shaved his hair. Oh, no, forget about shaving hair with dhoti. And then he shaved the mustache already. Oh, something is happening. He's going to give up everything, sannyas. Or wearing a dhoti. Oh, he's going to take sannyas. This is how people are. Especially in India. श्रीवास रामाय विद्यानिधि गदाधर गंगादास वक्रेश्वर मुरारी शुक्लांबर बुद्धिमंत खान नंदन श्रीधर विजय वासुदेव दामोदर मुकुंद संजय कत नाम लइब जत नवद्वीपवासी सबारे मिलिला प्रभु कृपा दृष्टि हासी. श्रीवास रामाय विद्यानिधि गदाधर गंगादास वक्रेश्वर मुरारी शुक्लांबर बुद्धिमंत खान Nandana, Sridhara, Vijaya, Vasudeva, Damodar, Mukunda, Sanjay, and all the others, however many I can mention, indeed all the inhabitants of Navadvip arrived there, and the Lord met them with smiles and glances of mercy. Anandena Chaya Shabe Boli Hari Hari Acharya Mandira Hoilo Shri Vaikuntha Puri. Everyone was chanting the holy names of Hari and dancing. In this way, the domicile of Advaita Acharya was converted into Shri Vaikuntha Puri. जत लोक आयल महाप्रभु के देखिते नाना ग्राम होते आर नवद्वीप होते. I just wanted to domicile. So domicile is home, and in Russian, home or house is dom. Dom means house. Domicile is house. So just wanted to say that. So 157. जत लोक आयल महाप्रभु के देखिते नाना ग्राम होते आर नवद्वीप होते. People came to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from various other villages nearby as well as Navadvip. Shabakare vasa dilo bhaksha annapana bahudin acharya gosai kaila samadhan. To everyone who came to see the Lord from villages nearby, especially from Navadvip, Advaita Acharya gave residential quarters as well as all kinds of eatables for many days. Indeed, he properly adjusted everything. So, you see, Advaita Acharya gave residential quarters as well as all kinds of eatables for many days. Apparently, I was staying in this, not apparently, this is, I know this. I was staying for a couple of years in our ancestral house when I was 5 and 6 years old. So that house, my great grandfather apparently During Chaturmasya, during Navaratri, so there used to be a Ram temple walking distance from our a stone's throw away from our house, and a lot of sannyasis they used to travel on these occasions, and they used to pass by. And apparently, this was way before I was born. They were housed by my great grandfather in that ancestral house because it's a fairly big compound, not too big, but okay. Um, and he had so many people staying there. It seems sadhus, all kinds of sadhus. Ram Navami. So they used to come to Ram temple from they used to traveling sadhus like that. They go from one place to another like that. And Chaturmasya. So they used to come and stay in the house, and tens or tens of them used to stay. And he used to arrange, um, you know, cooking for all of them, and shelter them, gave them some donations of cloth like that. So he used to serve like that sadhus. So this was the culture actually. You see, the householder's duty should be this: they should receive sadhus and also learn from them. So like that, one has to lead one's life. आचार्य गोसाईर भांडार अक्षय अव्यय जत द्रव्य व्यय करे तत द्रव्य होय. The supplies of Advaita Acharya were inexhaustible and indestructible. As many goods and commodities as he used, just as many again appeared. Of course, he is Advaita Acharya. He is Mahavishnu himself. Universes are coming out from him. সেই দিন হইতে সচি করে না রন্ধন ভক্তগণ লয়া প্রভু করে না ভোজন. From the day Śacīmātā arrived at the house of Advaita Acharya, she took charge of the cooking, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dined in the company of all the devotees. So Śacīmātā started cooking when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Advaita Acharya's house. She did not allow Advaita Acharya and his wife to cook. She cooked. She wanted to cook for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and of course all the devotees as well. Dine Acharyer Priti Prabhur Darshan Ratre Loko Dekhe Prabhur Nartana Kirtan. All the people who came there during the day saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the friendly behavior of Advaita Acharya. At night, they had the opportunity to see the Lord's dancing and hear his chanting. I mean, can we appreciate? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's poetry, very nicely rhyming. He had an anxiety that he would not finish. He would not be able to finish this book because of his ripe old age. His hand was shaking as he was writing, and still he did not compromise on the quality. He did not write some prose essay. He still wrote poetry. Poetry writing is not as easy as prose writing, and he did like that. Of course, he is a very, very accomplished poet. He's Kaviraj for a reason. If you see his songs, Preme Ghurnita Nayana Purnita, that song, Nityananda Ashtakam, is written by him. And in the Govinda Lilamrita, there are nice songs as well. One about Krishna, one about Radha that we also sang. So that is also written by him. Very beautiful, very melodious. And that was in Sanskrit. This Preme Ghurnita in Nityananda Ashtakam is in Bengali. But it's so beautiful that it sounds like Sanskrit. It doesn't sound like Bengali. So anyway, he never compromised on the quality. He wrote in poem. Kirtana korite prabhur sarva bhavodaye stambha kampa pulakashru gadgada pralay. When the Lord performed Kirtan, he manifested all kinds of transcendental symptoms. He appeared stunned and trembling, his hair stood on end, and his voice faltered. There were tears and devastation. Purport. Devastation is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as a combination of happiness and distress that becomes conspicuous by an absence of any sense of them. In this condition, a devotee falls to the ground and the subsequent symptoms in the body ensue. These symptoms are mentioned above, and when they become prominent in the body, a state called pralaya, devastation, is manifest. क्षणे क्षणे पड़े प्रभु आछाड़ खाइया देखी Śacīmātā कहे रोदन करिया. Frequently the Lord would tumble to the ground. Seeing this, Mother Sachi would cry. Churna hoilo hena vaso nimai kalevara ha ha kare Vishnu pashe mage evara. Srimati Śacīmātā thought that the body of Nimai was being smashed when he fell down so. She cried, alas, and petitioned Lord Vishnu. बाल्यकाल होते तुम्हार जे कोइलु सेवन तार ए फल मोरे देह नारायण. My dear Lord, kindly bestow this benediction as a result of whatever service I have rendered unto you from my childhood. जे काले निमाय पड़े धरणी उपरे व्यथा जन नाही लागे निमाई शरीरे. Whenever Nimai falls to the surface of the earth, please do not let him feel any pain. So, just like the gopis, when Krishna disappeared from the Rasa dance, and then later on, as they were searching for him, he appeared as Chaturbhuj Narayan. They bow down to him and say, where is our dear Krishna? Oh Narayan, you are so merciful. Please bless us to have association of Krishna again. So that's how pure the gopis' love for Krishna is, that they respect Narayan, and they may know even that he's Krishna himself, but the mood does not allow them to see him like that. They just pay obeisances and ask him for his favor so that they can find Krishna and have their loving affairs with him. Here also, just like Yashoda Maya, when demons came and tried to attack Krishna, she was always trying to protect Krishna by chanting mantras to Vishnu, and cow she would cow you would bathe him in cow urine and cow dung and like that to protect him, thinking that Krishna needs protection. And there is a very important thing Prabhupada taught us. When taking care of the temple, deity, one should take care of it. One should take care of the temple affairs, and the deities themselves, as one would take care of a child. So there was this incident where, I think in Mumbai, yes. So in the Juhu beach, Juhu, the current ISKCON temple is there. So Prabhupada was getting that land, and it was a tumultuous event how we got the land. But in the course of that, they were trying to smash the temple. The so-called landowner, he was trying to smash the temple and take back the deities, or even destroy the deities, something like this. So Prabhupada fought like anything, for the protection of the deities. So we should protect the deities as if they are helpless, and that's how one shows one's devotion to the Lord. In fact, I have a book actually here, The Flight of the Deities, I think. Flight of Deities. It's I haven't read it yet. It's a historical kind of study of all the different temples in India when the Mughals were attacking India, and how the devotees of various temples, they carried the deity and hid the deity wherever, and then in that way protected the deity. Ran away from the temple, but with the deity, protected the deity, and fought for the temple, and even died for the temple. So like that. So one should have that thing that I should protect Krishna. Not that Krishna is supreme, no, he will protect himself. That means, where is our love? Krishna also wants to go away from there, and he would so-called allow his deity to be smashed. Of course, Krishna cannot be smashed at any time, but if he goes away like that, that means we have committed an offense. So we should be very protective. Although this is kind of vatsalya, although and we are not there yet, but that kind of mood should be there in when we are dealing about the deity. We should protect the deity's interests at all costs. And if anyone insults the deity, we have to, fight back. If there is love, love means I should protect the honor of my beloved. If I don't do that, where is the love? Where is love? So we should know that. এইমত শচী দেবী বাৎসল্যে বিহ্বলা হর্ষ ভয় দৈন্য ভাবে হইল বিকলা. When Mother Shachi was thus overwhelmed in maternal love for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she became transformed with happiness, fear, and humility, as well as bodily symptoms. Purport. These verses indicate that Mother Shachi, born in the family of Nilambar Chakravarti, used to worship Lord Vishnu even before her marriage. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 6:41, Prapya punyakritam lokan ushitva shashvatih samah Śacīmātā Śrīmatam gehe yoga bhrashto bhijayate. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Mother Shachi, a Nitya Siddha living entity, is an incarnation of Mother Yashoda. She appeared in the house of Nilambar Chakravarti and was everlastingly engaged in the service of Lord Vishnu. Later, she directly had as her child Lord Vishnu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and she served him from the day of his appearance. This is the position of Nitya Siddha associates. Sri Haridas Thakur therefore sings, Gaurangera Sangi Gane Nitya Siddha Korimane. Every devotee should know that all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his family members, friends, and other associates, were all Nitya Siddhas. And Nitya Siddha never forgets the service of the Lord. He is always engaged, even from childhood, in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. श्रीवासादि जत प्रभुर विप्रभक्तगण प्रभु के भिक्षा देते होइलो सब आकारमन. Since Advaita Acharya was giving alms and food to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the other devotees headed by Haridas Thakur also desired to give him alms and invite him for lunch. Purport. It is the duty of all grahasthas to invite a sannyasi to their homes if he happens to be in the neighborhood or village. This very system is still current in India. If a sannyasi is in the neighborhood of a village, he is invited by all householders one after another. As long as a sannyasi remains in the village, he enlightens the inhabitants in spiritual understanding. Not that he just goes and eats there. Eats, but also enlightens them. In other words, a sannyasi has no housing or food problems even when he travels extensively. Even though Advaita Acharya was supplying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with prasadam, the other devotees from Navadvip and Shantipur also desired to offer him prasadam. Shuni Shachi Sabhakare Korila Minati Nimaira Darshanar Mui Pabokati. Hearing these proposals made by other devotees of the Lord, Mother Shachi said to the devotees, how many times shall I get the chance to see Nimai again? So she wanted to cook. তোমাস বাসনে হবে অন্যত্র মিলন মুই অভাগিনীর মাত্র এই দর্শন অভাগিনীর মাত্র এই দর্শন মুই অভাগিনী. I'm not so fortunate. Śacīmātā submitted, as far as you are concerned, you can meet Nimai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, many times somewhere else. But what is the possibility of my ever meeting him again? I shall have to remain at home. A sannyasi never returns to his home. So, she is saying that you all can go to Rath Yatra to Puri when he is there, but I am not going there. So, this is the only chance I get to cook for him. Why he must come to you? You can always meet him other time, you can serve him then. I cannot. So, give me the chance. So, that's her petition. Javat acharya grihe nimai ravasthana mui bhiksha dimu sabhakare magodan. Mother Shachi appealed to all the devotees to give her this charity. As long as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at the house of Advaita Acharya, only she would supply him food. सुनि भक्त गण कहे करि नमस्कार, मातार जे इच्छा से सम्मत सबार. Hearing this appeal from Mother Sachi, all the devotees offered obeisances and said, "We all agree to whatever Mother Sachi desires." How can they disobey, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother herself. How can they say no? मातार व्यग्रता देखी प्रभुर व्यग्र मन, भक्तगण एकत्र करे बोलेला वचन. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw his mother's great eagerness, he became a little agitated. He therefore assembled all the devotees present and spoke to them. Toma shabar agnya vina chalilam vrindavan, jaite narilo vigna koilo nivartan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed them all, "Without your order, I tried to go to Vrindavan. There was some obstacle, however, and I had to return." यद्यपि सहसा आमी करियाछि संन्यास, तथापि तमाशबा होइते nahi bodas. My dear friends, although I have suddenly accepted this renounced order, I still know that I shall never be indifferent to you. So here he's saying, without your order, I tried to go to Vrindavan. There was some obstacle, however, and I had to return. So in other words, he's saying that even to go to the Dham, holy place, we should go on the order of the devotees. Otherwise, there can be obstacles, and generally, obstacle can be physical or it can also be mental. Like if we are there and then our mind is not in the holy place, it is somewhere else. তোমাশবা না ছাড়িব যাবত আমি জীব, মাতারে তাবত আমি ছাড়িতে নারিব. My dear friends, as long as I remain manifest, I shall never give you up, nor shall I be able to give up my mother. सन्यासीर धर्म नहे सन्यास करिया, निज जन्म स्थाने रहे कुटुंब लइया. After accepting sannyas, it is not the duty of a sannyasi to remain at his birthplace encircled by relatives. কেহ যেন এই বলে না করে নিন্দনা, সেই যুক্তি কহ যাতে রহে দুই ধর্ম. Make some arrangements so that I may not leave you, and at the same time people may not blame me for remaining with relatives after taking sannyas. सुनिया प्रभुर এই मधुर वचन, सच्ची पाशे आचार्यादि करिल गमन. After hearing Lord Chaitanya's statement, all the devotees headed by Advaita Acharya approached Mother Sachi. प्रभुर निवेदन तारे सकल कहिल, सुनि सची जगन्माता कहिते लागिल. When they submitted Lord Chaitanya's statement, Mother Sachi, who is the mother of the universe, began to speak. तेहो जदि इहा रहे तबे मोर सुख, तार निंदा होय जदि सेह मोर दुख. Śacīmātā said, "It will be a great happiness for me if Nimai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, stays here. But at the same time, if someone blames him, it will be my great unhappiness. Because if he stays here, people will blame him. That will be my great unhappiness." Purport: It is a great happiness for a mother if her son does not leave home to search out Krishna but remains with her. At the same time, if a son does not search after Krishna but simply remains at home, he is certainly blamed by experienced saintly persons. Such blame certainly causes great unhappiness for a mother. If a real mother wants her son to progress spiritually, she had better allow him to go out searching for Krishna. The mother naturally desires the welfare of the son. If a mother does not allow her son to search for Krishna, she is called Ma, which indicates Maya. By allowing her son to go as a sannyasi and search for Krishna, Śacīmātā instructs all mothers of the world. She indicates that all sons should become real devotees of Krishna and should not stay at home under the care of an affectionate mother. This is supported by Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.18. Gurun na sasyat svajano na sasyat pita na sasyat janani na sasyat Daivam na tatsyan na patischa sasyan namocha yedya samupeta mrityum. No one should become a spiritual master, nor a relative, father, mother, worshipable deity, or husband if he cannot help a person escape the imminent path of death. Every living entity is wandering within the universe, subjected to the law of karma and transmigrating from one body to another and from one planet to another. Therefore, the whole Vedic process is meant to save the wandering living entities from the clutches of Maya, birth, death, disease, and old age. This means stopping the cycle of birth and death. This cycle can be stopped only if one worships Krishna. And the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 4:9, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth in this again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. To stop the cycle of birth and death, one has to understand Krishna as he is. Simply by knowing Krishna, one can stop the process of rebirth into the material world. By acting in Krishna consciousness, one can return to Godhead. The highest perfection of life is for a father, mother, spiritual master, husband, or any other family member to help others return home back to Godhead. This is the most preferred welfare activity for the benefit of relatives. Therefore, Śacīmātā, although the mother of Nimai Pandit, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, considered all the facts and decided to allow her son to go out and search for Krishna. At the same time, she made some arrangements in order that she might get news of all the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. তাতে এই যুক্তি ভালো মোর মনে লয় লয় নীলাচলে রহে যদি দুই কার্য হয়. Mother Sachi said, this consideration is good. In my opinion, if Nimai remains at Jagannath Puri, he may not leave any one of us and at the same time can remain aloof as a sannyasi. Thus, both purposes are fulfilled. नीलाचले नवद्वीपे जैन दुई घर लोकगता गतिवार्ता पाव निरंतर. Since Jagannath Puri and Navadvip are intimately related, as if there were two rooms in the same house, people from Navadvip generally go to Jagannath Puri and those in Jagannath Puri go to Navadvip. This going and coming will help carry news of Lord Chaitanya. In this way, I will be able to get news of him. So you see how she's calculated. তুমি সব করিতে পার গমনাগমন গঙ্গা স্নানে কভু হবে তার আগমন. Oh, I am sleepy now. Okay. Krishna. Yes, so 184 actually. তুমি সব করিতে পার গমনাগমন গঙ্গা স্নানে কভু হবে তার আগমন. So we have read this. All your devotees will be able to come and go, and sometimes he may also come to take his bath in the Ganga. आपनार दुख सुख ताहा नाहि गणी तार जय सुख ताहा निज सुख मानी. I do not care for my personal happiness or unhappiness, but only for his happiness. Indeed, I accept his happiness as my happiness. This is what a devotee is. It reminds me of this verse from Padhyavali. What is the verse? That, or is it Chaitanya Antilila? Where Radharani says that if Krishna makes me, if Krishna puts me into distress and if that gives him happiness, that distress of mine is my greatest happiness. Antya 2052, comment section. Okay, let's go to Antya. नागणी आपन दुःख सभे वांछे तार सुख आमार तात्पर्य मोरे जदि दिया दुख तार हईल महासुख সেই দুঃখ মোর সুখ বরিয়া I do not mind my personal distress. I only wish for the happiness of Krishna. For his happiness is the goal of my life. However, if he feels great happiness in giving me distress, that distress is the best of my happiness. This is unmotivated devotional service. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that a devotee does not care about his own happiness and distress. He is simply interested in seeing that Krishna is happy, and for that purpose he engages in various activities. A pure devotee has no way of sensing happiness except by seeing that Krishna is happy in every respect. If Krishna becomes happy by giving him distress, such a devotee accepts that unhappiness as the greatest of all happiness. Those who are materialistic, however, who are very proud of material wealth and have no spiritual knowledge, like the Prakrita Sahajiyas, regard their own happiness as the aim of life. Some of them aspire to enjoy themselves by sharing the happiness of Krishna. This is the mentality of fruitive workers who want to enjoy sense gratification by making a show of service to Krishna. শুনি ভক্তগণ তারে করিল স্তবন বেদ আজ্ঞা জয়ছে মাতা তোমার বচন After hearing Śacīmātā, all the devotees offered her prayers and assured her that her order, like a Vedic injunction, could not be violated. ভক্তগণ প্রভু আগে আসিয়া কহিল শুনিয়া প্রভুর মনে আনন্দ হইল All the devotees informed Lord Chaitanya of Śacīmātā's decision. Hearing it, the Lord became very pleased. নবদ্বীপবাসী আদি যত ভক্তগণ সবারে সম্মান করে বলিলা বচন Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered respects to all the devotees present from Navadvip and other towns and speaking to them as follows. Okay, let's see how many verses there are in this chapter, and there are 20 more verses. I think we will finish, right? I think that will be a good thing if we can finish this chapter altogether. Okay, we will finish this chapter. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered respects to all the devotees present from Navadvip and other towns, speaking to them as follows. Tumi shabalok mor param bandhava ei bhiksha mago more deho tumi shava My dear friends, you are all my intimate friends. Now I am begging a favor of you. Please give it to me. Ghare jaya karo sada Krishna sankirtan Krishna nama Krishna katha Krishna aradhan. This is actually a very important instruction for everyone, right? He says, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested them all to return home and begin chanting the holy name congregationally. He also requested them to worship Krishna, chant his holy name, and discuss his holy pastimes. Purport: The cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Hare Krishna movement, is very nicely explained by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu authoritatively. It is not that everyone has to take sannyas like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone can execute the cult of Krishna consciousness at home, as ordered by the Lord. Everyone can congregationally chant the holy name of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One can also discuss the subject matter of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and install deities of Radha Krishna or Gaur Nitai or both and worship them very carefully in one's own home. It is not that we have to open different centers all over the world. Whoever cares for the Krishna consciousness movement can install deities at home and under superior guidance worship the deity regularly, chanting the Mahamantra and discussing the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. We are actually teaching in our classes how to go about this. One who feels that he is not yet ready to live in a temple or undergo strict regulative principles in the temple, especially householders who live with a wife and children, can start a center at home by installing the deity, worshipping the Lord morning and evening, chanting Hare Krishna and discussing the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone can do this at home without difficulty, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees present there to do so. So for this, everyone should have the Bhagavatam at home, all the Prabhupada's books at home, and read them together. That's what we should all do. Whoever, has home, they have to do this. Agnya deho nila chale koriye gaman, madhya madhya asitomai divo darshan. After thus instructing the devotees, the Lord asked their permission to go to Jagannath Puri. He assured them that at intervals he would come there again. So he would come there and meet them again and again. Eta bole sabakare ishat hasiya vidaya karila prabhu sammana kariya. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, offering due respects to all the devotees and smiling very mildly, bade them farewell. Stava vidaya diya prabhu chalite koilo mana Haridas Thakur kohe karuna vachana. After requesting all the devotees to return home, the Lord decided to go to Jagannath Puri. At that time, Haridas Thakur began to cry and speak some pathetic words. Nila chale jabe tumi moro kon gati Nila chale jaite moro nahi kashakati. Haridas Thakur said, "You are going to Jagannath Puri and that is all right, but what will be my destination? I will not be able to go to Jagannath Puri." Purport: although Srila Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, he was accepted as a properly initiated Brahmana. As such, he had every right to enter the temple of Jagannath Puri, but because there were some rules and regulations stipulating that only Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, members of the Varnashram Dharma system, could enter, Haridas Thakur, out of his great humility, did not want to violate these existing rules. He therefore said that he did not have the strength to enter into the temple, and he pointed out that if Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived within the temple, there would be no way for Haridas Thakur to see him. Later, when Haridas Thakur went to Jagannath Puri, he lived outside the temple at a place called Siddhabakul. A monastery has now been erected there, known as Siddhabakul Mutt. People who visit Jagannath Puri often go to see Siddhabakul and the tomb of Haridas Thakur on the beach by the sea. We all saw that when we went there. I think most of you who are devotees who have been to Jagannath Puri might have also seen it. मुई अधम तोमार ना पावो दर्शन केमते धरिबो ए पापिष्ठ जीवन. Because I am the lowest among men, I shall not be able to see you. How shall I maintain my sinful life? प्रभु कोहे करो तुमी दैन्य संवरण तोमार दैन्यते मोर व्याकुल होय मन. The Lord replied to Haridas Thakur, please check your humility. Just the sight of your humility very much agitates my mind. He is asking Haridas Thakur to check his humility. Toma lagi Jagannathe koribo nivedan Toma laya jabo ami Shri Purushottam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assured Haridas Thakur that he would place a petition before Lord Jagannath and that he would certainly take him there to Jagannath Puri. तबे तो आचार्य को है विनय करिया Dina dui chari roho kripata kariya. After that, Advaita Acharya respectfully requested Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to show him mercy by remaining another 2 or 4 days. 2 or 4 days. After cheating him thoroughly. Now, 2 or 4. What is it? 2 or 4. What is it? What happened to 3? You know, no plan. Simply want to keep him there. आचार्यर वाक्य प्रभु ना करे लंघन रहिला द्वैत गृहे ना कोइलो गमन. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never violated the request of Advaita Acharya, therefore he remained at his home and did not leave immediately for Jagannath Puri. आनंदित हইল आचार्य सचि भक्त सब प्रतिदिन करे आचार्य महामहोत्सव. Lord Chaitanya's decision was received very happily by Advaita Acharya, Mother Sachi, and all the devotees. Advaita Acharya celebrated every day with a great festival. दिने कृष्ण कथा रस भक्तगण संगे रात्रि महामहोत्सव संकीर्तन रंगे. See, this is the festival. What is the festival? During the day, the devotees discussed subject matters concerning Krishna, and at night there was a great festival of congregational chanting at the house of Advaita Acharya. So this is actual festival. Um, Krishna Katha and Kirtan. You know, like, so nowadays sometimes Ashtaprahar Kirtan, 24-hour Kirtan they are making in ISKCON, only singing. But no, there has to be Krishna Katha. So here, morning Krishna Katha and night singing. So in that way, they were celebrating. आनंदित हया सचि करे न रंधन सुखे भोजन करे प्रभु लोया भक्तगण. Mother Sachi cooked with great pleasure, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with the devotees, accepted the prasadam with great pleasure. Acharya Shraddha Bhakti Griha Sampada Dhane Sakala Safala Hailo Prabhura Aradhane. In this way, all the opulences of Advaita Acharya, his faith, devotion, home, riches, and everything else were successfully utilized in the worship of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport: Advaita Acharya set an ideal example for all household devotees in his reception of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, and in his execution of a daily festival at his home. If one has the proper means and wealth, he should occasionally invite the devotees of Lord Chaitanya who are engaged in preaching all over the world and hold a festival at home, simply by distributing prasadam and talking about Krishna during the day and holding congregational chanting for at least 3 hours in the evening. Wow. 3 hours kirtan and morning prasadam and Krishna Katha. This procedure must be adopted in all centers of the Krishna consciousness movement. Wow, Prabhupada is even saying this. This procedure must be adopted. Thus, they will daily perform Sankirtan Yajna. So, morning and evening programs every day, Prabhupada wanted actually. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32, the daily performance of Sankirtan Yajna is recommended for this age. Yajna Sankirtana Prayayar Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. One should worship Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his 4 associates, the Panchatattva, by distributing prasadam and holding congregational chanting. Indeed, that yajna or sacrifice is most recommended in this age of Kali. In this age, other yajnas are not possible to perform, but this yajna can be performed everywhere and anywhere without difficulty. So actually, this is the greatest of all yajnas, in fact, to have the Srimad Bhagavatam at home and daily read it. That's the greatest yajna one can do every day. सचिर आनंद बाड़े देखी पुत्र मुख भोजन कराया पूर्ण कोइलो निज सुख. As Mother Sachi constantly saw the face of her son and fed him, her own happiness increased and was indeed complete. এই মত অদ্বৈত গৃহে ভক্তগণ মিলে বাঞ্ছিলা কতক দিন মহাকুতূহলে. In this way, at Advaita Acharya's house, all the devotees met and passed some days together in a greatly festive mood. आरो दिन प्रभु कहे सब भक्त गणे निज निज गृहे सबे करह गमने. The next day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees to return to their respective homes. घरे गिया कर सबे कृष्ण संकीर्तन पुनरपि आमा संगे होइबे मिलन. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also asked them to execute the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord at their homes, and he assured them that they would be able to meet him again. कभुवा তোমরা করিবে নীলাদ্রি গমন কভুবা আসিব আমি করিতে গঙ্গা স্নান. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them, sometimes you will come to Jagannath Puri and sometimes I shall come bathe in the Ganga. Nityananda Gosai Pandit Jagadananda Damodar Panditar Datta Mukunda এই চারিজন আচার্য দিল প্রভু সনে জননী প্রবোধ করে বন্দিল চরণে. Sri Advaita Acharya sent 4 persons, Nityananda Gosai, Jagadananda Pandit, Damodar Pandit and Mukunda Datta to accompany the Lord. After pacifying his mother Śacīmātā, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu submitted prayers to her lotus feet. तारे प्रदक्षिण करे करिल गमन यथाचार्यर घरे उठिल क्रंदन. When everything was arranged, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu circumambulated his mother and then started for Jagannath Puri. In the house of Advaita Acharya, there arose tumultuous crying. निरपेक्ष हया प्रभु शीघ्र चलिला कांदिते कांदिते आचार्य पाश्चात चलिला. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unaffected. He left swiftly and Advaita Acharya followed him weeping. Purport. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains, the word Nirapeksha means not being affected by anything material and remaining fixed in the service of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not very much care for the roaring tumult and cry at the house of Advaita Acharya, which he heard when starting for Jagannath Puri. Worldly moralists may criticize Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for being very cruel, but the Lord did not care for such criticism. As the world teacher of this Krishna consciousness movement, he actually showed that a person seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness should not be affected by worldly affection. The best course is to engage in rendering service to the Lord and to become callous to material objectives. See? The best course is to engage in rendering service to the Lord and to become callous to material objectives. Externally, everyone is attached to material things, but if one becomes entangled in such things, he cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, those who are engaged in Krishna consciousness should not care for the so-called morality of the material world if that morality opposes the service of the Lord. This is actually a very nice purport. As Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally shown, one cannot properly execute Krishna consciousness without being neutral. কত দূর গিয়া প্রভু করি জোড় হাত আচার্য প্রবোধি কহে কিছু মিষ্ট বাত. After he had followed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for some distance, Advaita Acharya was petitioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with folded hands. The Lord spoke the following sweet words. Janani prabodhi karo bhakta samadhan tumi vyagra hoile karo narahibe pran. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please pacify all the devotees and my mother. If you become agitated, no one will be able to continue to exist. Eto boli Prabhu tare kori alingan nivritti koriya kailo swachhandagaman. Saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Advaita Acharya and stopped him from following any further. Then, without anxiety, he proceeded to Jagannath Puri. See how Advaita Acharya, who is Mahavishnu and Sadashiv combined, is so badly wanting the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although Narayan himself, still he is attracted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. गंगा तीरे तीरे प्रभु चारि जन साथ है, नीलाद्रि लीला प्रभु छत्र भोग पथ है. The Lord with the other four persons went along the banks of the Ganga through the path of Chhatrabhoga toward Niladri Jagannath Puri. Purport. In the southern section of the Eastern Railway, in the district of 24 Parganas, is a station named Magrahat. If one goes to the southeastern side of that station for some 14 miles, there is a place called Jayanagar. About 6 miles south of this Jayanagar station is a village named Chhatrabhoga. Sometimes this village is called Khadi. In this village is a deity of Lord Shiva known as Vaijurkanath. A festival takes place there every year during the month of Chaitra, March, April. The festival is known as Nanda Mela. At the present moment, the Ganga does not flow there. On the same railway line is another station known as Baruipur, and near this station is another place called Atisara. Formerly, this village was also situated on the banks of the Ganga. One can go from this village to Panihati and from there to Varahanagar, north of Kolkata. In those days, the Ganga flowed to the south of Kolkata through Kali Ghat, which is still known as Adi Ganga. From Baruipur, the Ganga branched out and flowed through Diamond Harbour near the Mathurapur police station. It is to be noted that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through all these places on his way to Jagannath Puri. चैतन्य मंगले प्रभुर नीलाद्रि गमन विस्तारे वर्णिया छेन दास वृंदावन. In his book known as Chaitanya Mangal or Chaitanya Bhagavat, Haridas Thakur has elaborately described the Lord's passage to Jagannath Puri. So, Chaitanya Mangal, later there was another Chaitanya Mangal by Lochandas Thakur, I think. Then Vrindavan Thakur changed his book from Chaitanya Mangal to Chaitanya Bhagavat. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through Bengal, he passed through Atisara Gram, Varaha Gram and Chhatrabhoga. He then reached the Orissa province where he passed through Prayag Ghat, the Suvarnarekha river, Remuna, Jajpur, where he bathed at the Dashashwamedha Ghat, on the Vaitarani river, Katak, where the Mahanadi river flows, Bhuvaneshwar, where there is a big lake known as Bindu Sarovar, Kamalpur and Atharnala. Atharnala is the 18-legged bridge. Now, I want to know, Orissa province, where he passed through Prayag Ghat, and so that means at that time, the Orissa province used to be very wide. I mean, even until Prayag, it used to be there. Just imagine. Not just the present day Orissa. Advaita Grihe Prabhur Vilas Shune Jai Jan Achire Miloye Tare Krishna Premadhan. If one hears the activities of the Lord at the house of Advaita Acharya, he will certainly very soon attain the riches of love of Krishna. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Jar Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 3rd chapter, describing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's stay at the house of Advaita Acharya, his acceptance of the sannyas order and observation of daily festivals at Advaita Acharya's house, his congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and his feasting with all the devotees. That's the end of the third chapter. Chapter 4 is very interesting. Madhya Puri's devotional service. I always wanted to read this chapter a few times. Now is a chance to read it with all of you. So we'll do that next session onwards. I think I'll end it there. Yeah, so there's this in the comment section, Śacīmātā 13.113. So this is Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. वृद्ध माता पितार जाए करो सेवन वैष्णव पाश भागवत करो अध्ययन. I need to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Raghunath Bhatta, when you return home, serve your aged father and mother who are devotees and try to study Srimad Bhagavatam from a pure Vaishnava who has realized God. Purport. One should note how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, advised Raghunath Bhattacharya to learn Srimad Bhagavatam. He advised him to understand Srimad Bhagavatam not from professional men, but from a real Bhagavat, a devotee. He also advised Raghunath Bhatta to serve his mother and father because they were both Lord Chaitanya's devotees. Anyone who wishes to advance in Krishna consciousness must try to serve the devotees of Krishna. As Narottam Das Thakur says, Chhadiya Vaishnav Seva Nistar Peche Keva. Without serving a self-realized Vaishnava, no one has ever been released from the materialistic way of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have never advised Raghunath Bhatta to serve ordinary parents, but since his parents were Vaishnavas, the Lord advised him to serve them. One might ask, why shouldn't ordinary parents be served? As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.18, again, Guru Nasasya Swajano Nasasya verse, one who cannot deliver his dependent from the path of birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a relative, father or mother, or a worshipable demigod, nor should such a person become a husband. Everyone naturally gets a father and mother at the time of birth, but the real father and mother are those who can release their offspring from the clutches of imminent death. This is possible only for parents advanced in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, any parents who cannot enlighten their offspring in Krishna consciousness cannot be accepted as a real father and mother. The following verse from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-200 confirms the uselessness of serving ordinary parents. Laukiki Vaidiki Vapi Yakriya Kriyate Mune Hari Sevanukulaiva Sakarya Bhakti Michhata. One should perform only those activities either worldly or prescribed by Vedic rules and regulations which are favorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Concerning the study of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly advises that one avoid hearing from a non-Vaishnava professional reciter. In this connection, Sanatana Goswami quotes a verse from Padma Purana. Okay, so this is about Bhagavatam. Okay, so you can read that if you want. It's a little bit out of the topic, so I will just skip that for now. Okay, I think I'll stop it here. Thank you very much. Thank you for bearing with me. I was very sleepy today, very tired. So we'll see you again. Tomorrow is Narasimha Chaturdashi, a very auspicious day. And Wednesday, with the Bhagavad Gita class, we will see you again. And then meet again next Saturday for Chaitanya Charitamrita. This time Madhavendra Puri's life. Thank you very much. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Śacīmātā ki jai, Advaita Acharya ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.